Bank. Jalen Rose is in the house. Zach Lowe, Adrian Wojnarowski, Malika Andrews, Richard Jefferson, Chiney Agumike, Kendrick Perkins. They will be stopping by shortly. But let's start with some video that we just saw coming in from moments ago. Ja Morant, he was seen at Grizzlies practice, and he was in good spirits. He didn't appear to do anything with his right hand before getting it heavily wrapped. You can see him there, a little bit of what looks like ice on it. But we see Ja at shoot-aroround here, at practice here. So, Woj, what more can you tell us about what to expect from Ja Morant for Game 2 here?
Malika, listen, they were always going to take this right up until game time of Game 2 tomorrow night. I do not sense a great deal of optimism around this Grizzlies team that Ja Morant will be ready to play in Game 2. But they've not ruled him out. They're going to take it up till tomorrow. But I certainly think this is a team, an organization preparing for the very real possibility they're going to have to try to even this series without Ja Morant in Game 2, get it 1-1, and then they don't play again until Game 3 on Saturday against the Lakers. But, you know, they've got another 24 hours, and I think just from a competitive advantage standpoint, you don't want your opponent to know, and they're going to take it right up until game time tomorrow.
The silver lining here for Memphis is that Taylor Jenkins said that the imaging revealed no breaks, no ligament damage, so we will see as we get closer to that game. I do want to get some other news from you here, Woj, potentially some good news for New York Knicks fans?
Yeah, Josh Hart, I'm told he's expected to play in Game 2 tonight. Sprained ankle. He was listed doubtful yesterday, upgraded to questionable today, but I'm told that Josh Hart is expected to play for the Knicks. He was pivotal in that Game 1 win. He's been tremendous for this team since he came over from Portland at the trade deadline.
The heart of the New York Knicks, no pun intended there. Very good news there as they try to take a 2-0 series lead over the Cavaliers. All right, we're going to get to more on both of those games in just a minute, but we need to get to Draymond Green and the Golden State Warriors, because I got to say, three of us and Chiney all sat up here yesterday and we said, yeah, the Warriors are going to even the series. And we were so very wrong. Let's take it to the game, show you what happened, because the Kings said, not so fast. We are not just here as a sweet story. The atmosphere, once again, electric. Steph Curry, a little vibe check. Is it still? Oh, yeah, it is, because it looked like this, Richard.
Oh, it was live there. When I try and tell people about, you know, if you were able to play in Sacramento in the early 2000s, this is what their crowd is. This is what their crowd has always been. They just haven't had a product in 16 years to do this for. They got a brand new arena. They got a young, exciting crowd, and these young boys are delivering.
Well, from the get-go, it seemed like just a different feel even from Game 1. Intense nonetheless, but the Warriors turnover after turnover early on.
It was tough to watch. Look, you know, J.J. Redick said it on First Take. They have such a small room for error. And when you add 20 turnovers and not great shooting and not great bench depth, it starts to become a problem.
Well, and then this was starting to become a problem. This is the first time that we see Draymond and Sabonis get tangled up a little bit here. A foul here on Draymond Green. He disagreed with it. That would end up being a precursor to what was to come.
Well, and make no mistake, that was reviewed, and it wasn't a foul. They were saying Draymond's momentum took him here. Now, what happened there, though, that's what got everybody talking and buzzing.
Let's take one more look at that, because as Steph secures the rebound, it looks like Sabonis is holding on to Draymond's leg, but then Draymond, as he's coming back, is it a step? Is it a stomp? That is what everyone is debating today. Nonetheless, Draymond Green, as it's being reviewed, egging on the crowd. I can't hear you, chatting with the crowd, jumping on a chair, going back and forth. He would end up being ejected from this game, and it went downhill from there for Golden State.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing. Right at that moment, that was the part when we know that the antic between Draymond and other players, they can get going. Draymond lost this battle. Now, hopefully, this can fire up his team for their first two home games, but they lost this battle in Sacramento. He needed to be on the floor to try and even out the series.
And let's not just pretend the Warriors gave this up. The Kings won it soundly. They get the win 114-106. Light the beam, baby. So when Draymond was ejected with 7:03 left in the fourth on Monday, that unlocked the Kings offense, right? Sacramento scored 23 of their 31 points after Green was ejected, made 10 of their final 15 shots. And after the game, there was plenty of discussion on this altercation. Let's hear from Draymond Green.
My leg got grabbed. Second time in 2 nights. Referees just watch it. I got to land my foot somewhere. and I'm not the most flexible person, so it's not stretching that far.
So you didn't really see where you were stepping. You just kind of.
I can only step so far and pulling my leg away.
What are you going to do when someone grabs your foot when you're running full speed? Like, that's a dirty – just fully grabs your foot and yanks on you. That's not cool, man. I'm not saying what Draymond did was right, but, like, you can't just grab somebody's foot when they're taking off in a full sprint. That's not cool.
I love the competition. I love the playoffs, the challenge I'm taking on the Warriors. I got hit earlier in the game in the jaw there, so when I fell, I was kind of protecting myself, and then obviously the incident happened, and I feel like there's no room for that in our game today.
All right, Jalen, we've heard from both sides. What's your takeaway?
The Golden State Warriors are in trouble. And see, if you're Draymond Green, for every action, grab your leg, there's a reaction, how you respond to it. So maybe if he would have kicked him or snatched his leg away and hit the back of his heel against his chin, he doesn't get ejected. But when you step on his chest, it wasn't Christian Laettner against Kentucky in the early 90s, but still, when it happens in today's game, you're going to get ejected from the game. And you just put the results up there. They were 10 of 15 from the floor and shot 67% without the former Defensive Player of the Year anchoring their defense. Now their charge is to win 4 of the next 5. And I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So that's my takeaway. He helped put himself in position to get ejected, which now means the Warriors are going to get ejected from this series in the first round.
And look, if we're going to talk about just this incident, I like what Sabonis said in his interview going off the court. It's like, hey, look, we're battling, things happen, keep it pushing. But when you start doing this whole, I got to go get x-rays, now Draymond's getting x-rays on his ankle, and this is the back and forth. My thing about this, what Sabonis did was wrong. You don't do that. Anybody that has a basketball opinion, you don't see people grabbing someone's leg. I would have kicked him. I don't know if I would have stomped on him, but I got to get going. This is the postseason. And so, look, Sabonis knew what he was doing, and that's where I say Draymond lost the petty battle here because they both did something petty. Draymond exceeded what Sabonis did. Draymond's out the game, and now all of a sudden the Kings can run. Correct. So if I'm Sabonis, I'd do that 100 times out of 100.
Stay in the game.
Kick me in my chest. You get out the game 100 times out of 100. But I don't think any suspensions. I don't think any of that. Sabonis needs to own up to what he did, not saying that he protected himself. And Draymond,
well, he deserved his technical. Sabonis did get a technical. But to your point, Draymond did lose the battle by actually getting ejected from the game.
Yeah, I think this has been legislated completely correctly.
Perfect.
Sabonis got a technical. Draymond escalated. Like, you don't need to stomp and then do the Super Mario Brothers jump off of Sabonis' torso, and he got ejected. Let's leave it there. Nobody needs to get suspended. But to your point, this is the Golden State Warriors. These are the defending NBA champions. This is a big, big deal that they're down 2-0. Yeah. And remember how this season started. It started with Draymond Green punching Jordan Poole in practice. Is it going to end with Draymond Green stomping on Domantas Sabonis? And at what point are the Warriors they just have to deal with this all the time? And there's a certain emotional fatigue that sets in, and they can't have that because their backs are against the wall. The series doesn't start until a road team wins a game. We know the Warriors stink on the road. They're amazing at home. They got to win these next 2 games against a team that is confident and coming for their throats. They're going to have to dig in and be unified and be on point. They can't have any distractions. The Kings will not let them get away with having distractions. They need to win these next 2 games. It's going to be tough.
Well, because as good as the Warriors are at home, the Kings are actually by a very, very small margin even better on the road than they are at home. But Zach, you used the word unified. Woj, will they be unified? Will they have everyone? What are your expectations here in terms of a suspension for Draymond Green?
Well, they are evaluating this for a possible suspension. The league's going to do that with really any incident like this. But I think the things that everyone has said here that the Warriors have in their favor to not have a suspension. One, Draymond Green was ejected down 4 with 7 minutes to go in a playoff game. That was a significant price to pay. And that Sabonis did reach up, grab his foot. He played a part in this. I think it's unlikely that there's a suspension here, but the league has yet to rule on it.
Okay, so we will wait and see for now. But here's the thing. The Warriors being down 2-0, it's new for them. They've never been in this boat before, and it's a place that very, very few defending champions have ever been. Golden State is the 5th